Tower of Babel. Peter Brueghel the Elder's art shows some of the wildest, most imaginative pictures to emerge from the Flemish Renaissance. Long before Game of Thrones came along, you can find armies of the dead marching on Europe, a man playing fiddle with a pot on his head, bizarre creatures, and more. And one of his masterpieces is the Tower of Babel, which is filled with interesting sights to explore. Who is this man that looks such a powerful and respected man? And why is he, and these other people, wearing pointed shoes? And is this tower really stable? Let's get into this. By the end, you'll see not just why the tower itself is such a fascinating story, but why this painting has fascinated generations. Have you heard of the Tower of Babel? It's said that in Babel, people believed that if they could build a tower that reached all the way up to heaven, they could become like gods themselves. Except in the story, God is not thrilled with this idea. So, in a marvellous, somewhat wild turn of events, all the people working on the tower found themselves speaking different languages and they couldn't understand each other. As a result, the tower building project just stopped. There's no better representation of this than Peter Brueghel the Elder's piece called the Tower of Babel. This painting was made in 1563. Peter Brueghel was a guy who figured out that he could make really big paintings of landscapes and peasants, which was a totally new and innovative idea at the time. In fact, he was so good and saucier at it that he became the most important artist of the Dutch and Flemish Renaissance. So basically, he was a painting prodigy who was way ahead of his time. As to this painting in front of us, we can see the wobbly tall tower as the central element, reaching up towards the clouds with its radiant expression of Roman arches, which are present on every level of the tower. These arches are familiar. They are similar to those found in the Roman Colosseum, and they give the painting a sense of grandeur and historical significance. That's also because the Colosseum was already in ruins during Brueghel's time, and it's thought that Brueghel used it as a model for the dilapidated tower in his painting. The tower is sort of Babylonian in meaning, but Roman in design. The tower is encircled by an upward spiralling ramp, from which multiple arched entrances lead to the dark interior. Towards the top, the terracotta-coloured inner brick structure is revealed, angling upwards to what seems to be a smaller, more conventional structure at the pinnacle. The building appears to be in a very advanced but uneven state of completion. Indeed, it seems that people are actually living inside while construction is being carried on all around them. We are also drawn to the city, which appears very small in comparison to the tower, obviously. But what's this city? Do you know? I don't know, but some experts say it's Rome. Then that may explain the Colosseum-style arches even further, but some people say it is Antwerp, the city where Brueghel lived when this painting was made. And back in those days, Antwerp was a total powerhouse. It was all about growth, and attracting tons of visitors from all over the world, from Germany, France, and even parts of Asia. At the time, Antwerp was a major city and a centre of the art world. It was even a busy port and a commercial hub, with a large population and a vibrant cultural scene. Also, Antwerp was under the Spanish Netherlands territory at that time. The Spanish Netherlands was a territory in Europe that was ruled by the Spanish monarchy from the 16th to the 18th centuries. It consisted of present-day Belgium and Luxembourg, as well as parts of France, Germany, and the Netherlands. It's no surprise that there were all sorts of different languages being spoken there, so I think we probably have a good idea of what was in the mind of Brueghel when this painting was made. He was possibly trying to make some kind of point about the chaos in his own city. Brueghel is also showing us something in the lower left corner of the painting. Do you see it? Yeah, we now know that's King Nimrod, the supposed ruler who ordered the construction of the tower in the first place. He's seen visiting the chaotic site and accompanied by his entourage, while the stonemasons pay tribute to him. This man seems to look like the architect, judging from the fact that he is not wearing the pointy shoe which only powerful and wealthy people wore back then, but we'll get into that in a sec. The stonemasons are bowing down in a way that describes total submission, and these men are seen busy trying to lift a big slab of stone, loudly echoing the pain they are passing through and the fact that they have no time for frivolities and must get back to work immediately. This sort of eerily commanding and slave-driving role is not uncommon for kings in that period. He dressed in fancy Renaissance-style clothing, which was a nod to King Philip II of Spain, who ruled the Netherlands during Brueghel's time. If you look closely at the painting, we can see a host of meticulous details relating to the construction of the building. You will see that many people are bustling about both on and around the tower. We can see all the little people scurrying around the tower, but if you take a closer look, you'll see that Brueghel has depicted a whole bunch of different trades and professions, from stonemasons to construction workers. All sorts of work is going on. They seem to be concerned with working and just getting things done. You hardly see anyone standing idle doing nothing or just goofing around. No one on lunch breaks or coffee breaks. Here, a woman is entering one of the gates, and a ladder is visible sticking out of an upper window. There is a large group of workers on the roof, and the construction seems to be ongoing without end. It's unclear if these people have any idea what they're doing, but one thing is certain: they're using some seriously questionable methods to try and build this thing. It's a wonder they haven't completely given up on this ridiculous project by now. Oh, let's also notice the anchoring of the building on the rocky slope. Brueghel creates the impression of static equilibrium. Equilibrium? Do you see any equilibrium here? Wow. These little worker ants are busting their buns, but it's pretty clear they're fighting a losing battle. I mean, just look at the place. It's like a half-finished disaster zone. There are barely started sections right next to totally completed parts, and everything in between. It's like they're trying to beat the clock or something, and to top it all off, the upper part of the building is still covered in clouds. Talk about a hot mess. This tower is in a coastal landscape near a river. Boats of different shapes and sizes docking and delivering this pink thing that most likely could be bricks. This perhaps is reflecting the fact that waterways, rather than unpaved country roads, carried most of the heavy goods during the 16th century. The subject and its site were also intended to mirror the situation in Antwerp, Belgium, where rapid building growth had caused widespread problems. Also, you can see the city wall that truly separates a city that looks more populated, busy, and just more developed, while the other side is, shall I say, sparse and deserted. It's like a contrast. As far as the eye can see, the landscape is dotted with fields, valleys, forests, meadows, and waterways, showcasing the stunning beauty of the natural world and reminding us of the majesty of God's creation. In contrast, the gigantic and ambitious efforts of humans seem insignificant and futile in comparison. So, what's the point of all this? In some ways, Brueghel was using the Tower of Babel as a way to celebrate the hard-working craftsmen of the city of Antwerp in the 16th century. He was showing off all the different skills and trades that these people had, and how they were all working together to build something great, and perhaps also warning about the dangers of hubris and ambitious growth. Can anyone relate? But of course, in the painting at least, the tower never gets finished. It's just a wobbly, unstable mess reaching up towards the clouds, never to be completed. What do you think about it? Let me know your reactions in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and may your life be artful.